Beginning of the define phase of the DMAIC life cycle, we start with the problem statement, which defines what it is that we need to resolve. That's a question that we ask ourselves. Now, once we've asked ourselves that question and have the problem statement ready to go, we then need to write an outcome statement. And an outcome statement is really a statement that helps you define where you think you should be at the end of this project or piece of work. It works very similar to a problem statement and allows you to identify potential criteria that you might use to measure success. And of course, it starts to set you up for the measure phase of DMAIC lifecycle. So we are defining what success looks like, and we also are defining how we measure that. The creation of the outcome statement can be managed in exactly the same way as a problem statement. Instead of using the NOSI technique, we use SMART criteria or SMART measures to capture our thinking. So, this is our problem statement we agreed on in the last video. In the 3-month period ending 30th of December 2016, sickness and absence has risen from 3 to 6% across the organization of 30 people, causing resourcing problems for the help desk, which has closed early on 14 occasions. Inquiries are failing to be answered against our KPIs. That is the problem that we're addressing. So, when we're thinking about this, we then need to ask ourselves, okay, so that's the problem statement. Where do we want to be? What does good look like after we've resolved this problem? So we do this by defining the outcome statement. So this is your desired state, end state, your target or your outcome. These are used interchangeably. And we are saying here, we will reduce unplanned absence to 1% by the end of March 2017. Now, as I said, we can use SMART criteria to define the outcome statement. So going through it one by one, making your outcome statement specific. Does the outcome address our problem? So if we're looking at that desired state, will it address the problem of having unplanned absences causing our inquiries not to be answered against our KPIs? If we are going to be reducing unplanned absence to that, then yes, we would imagine that that would resolve that issue. But again, we need to measure it as we go along. Measurable. Can our success be measured? In this case, yes, it can. Because if unplanned absence or sickness and absence is at 6% at the moment, and we want to get it down to 1%, we can measure that as we go through this piece of work. Is it achievable? Is that end state achievable? Now, this is where you would start to question. If at the end of 30th of December 2016, it's at 6%, and we say in 3 months' time, in March 2017, we want to get it down to 1%. Is that realistic? Is it achievable? Given that in October 2016, it was at 3%. Now, this is where you start to challenge and question and ask yourself, is this possible? Is this a good desired end state? And only you will know that because you'll be working as a team of people together. Is it relevant? Does a statement relate to an organizational objective? In our case, there's nothing specific in here about relating to an organizational objective. But if you want to bolster your outcome statement, you could have a look at strategy, your strategy in your department or of your organization to see if you could add it in here. Timely. Does the statement indicate a completion date? In our case, yes, it does. We want to be at this end state by the end of March 2017. So this brings us to the end of our define phase of the DMAIC life cycle, which asked us one question: what do we need to resolve? We answer this question using a problem statement. Once we've defined that problem statement, we then define what good looks like in relation to this problem in our outcome statement.